Hi, my name is Nikku Sharma and I am a Toronto realtor. I've been a Toronto realtor for over 10 years with lots of experience working with first-time buyers. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. What are some of the biggest mistakes that I see first-time buyers make? And I think one of the ones that I would say is at the forefront is not understanding that you need to start the process early on, which means having your own representation early on. What does that mean? That means that you're not just going to go look at open houses and start talking to the listing agent and giving them all your information and kind of putting all your cards out there to see, maybe something will stick. And the reason I think this is so important is you need somebody that is working on your best interest, that understands what is that you need going into this home, whatever you're buying, whether it be condo or a townhouse or a freehold home. It is really important to have that person be looking out for you. As a first-time buyer, you have no idea what you're looking for. So as a first-time buyer, you can do all the research that you want. All the research that you put in will not replicate an agent, right? An agent that has been working in the field, that knows what's going on, that knows what to look for, is going to be able to walk into a home and tell you like, yes, this is going to work for you, or no, it's not going to work, or help you make that decision of a yes or a no, because they know what it is that you're looking for and they understand and can explain to you what those compromises are. So number one thing is be prepared, have your own representation, because that will take you so much further than trying to do this on your own. Secondly, you want to be prepared with your financing, with your lawyer, with your home inspector. So that also helps when you have your own representation. An agent like myself is going to sit down with you and tell you what the process, help you understand how important each of these factors really are when you're doing the offer. So it's not a matter of, we're ready, we did some research on the computer and, did a online pre-approval and we're approved for $1 million bucks, let's go look at open houses. That's not how it works. If you want to be effective and efficient in this market and you don't want to draw out your process of finding a home, let me tell you, doing the back-end preparation will take you so much further. And I can tell you from my own experience, clients that I speak with months, sometimes years in advance, by the time that they go to see homes, they are ready, prepared to make an offer. And some of them will only go out and look 1 to 2 weekends, even 1 to 2 months sometimes at most, and be able to make a decision because one, they're informed, they have all of their financing and preparation already done, they have the contacts that they need to make decisions really quickly. And especially in a competitive market, if you don't have that preparation, that is only going to delay you more. So if you go see a home and they're taking offers 2 days from now, trying to get your financing, home inspection, all of that done in 48 hours can prove to be a challenge. So make sure that you are prepared. The third mistake I would say is not understanding your numbers. So again, that kind of ties into preparation is really understand what it is that you want to buy, what it's going to cost you, and how that impacts your lifestyle. And that really goes down to the nitty-gritty of numbers. Not only what your mortgage looks like, what that payment looks like, but factor in your taxes. If you're going to buy a condo, what do the maintenance fees look like? What do they cover? What are you responsible for in addition to those maintenance fees? And especially if you look at condo townhouses, there is a certain portion of repairs and stuff that the corporation is responsible for, but you may also be, responsible for 50% of windows, let's say, or some sort of repair that needs to be done. So you need to really understand what it is, what those numbers say, and understand your budget overall and what the impact to your life is, and if you're willing to make that compromise. So that goes back to understanding your numbers inside out before you go out there and look. And then with that comes understanding the market. So, one of the biggest mistakes that buyers make, especially first-time buyers, is they think, okay, well, if I'm open to a large geographical area, that gives me lots of options. And yes, it will give you lots of options, but are those options right for you? So focusing in on what kind of lifestyle do you want? Focusing on what kind of commute do you want? Is childcare important to you? Is ability to walk to a coffee shop important to you? All those are so important in understanding what that particular neighborhood is going to cost you, right? Having those amenities in a neighborhood is going to be valued at a different number in each neighborhood. The further away you are from a subway station or a GO train station, the more likely it is that you have to take a bus. So that's an added time to your commute. Is that something you're willing to compromise on? Does that fit into, the numbers that you have available? So understand the market. What is going on in that particular neighborhood? Does an extra, 20-minute bus ride mean that you can get something that is more in line with what it is that you want on an interior space and give up that neighborhood or give up that little bit of commute? So it's really important to understand what's happening in the market, not on a macro level, but really on a micro level, in the neighborhoods that give you the best options for your lifestyle that you want to maintain. And sometimes that may be the compromise, but at least that's where you've started, right? Understanding and then going outwards, versus going from this big pool to trying to narrow it down. It can be a little bit more difficult. So really understand what the market is doing and what it is that you're looking for to be able to hone in on the neighborhood. Okay, and then what are you buying? So are you buying a condo property? Are you buying a freehold property? What is the difference? What is your responsibility? What does that mean? What does any of this mean? Status certificates. What does a status certificate do or tell you, or do you need it? Is it important? It is 100% important if you're buying any sort of a condo property, because that is where you're going to learn so much about the corporation and the unit and maintenance fees and what they've been going towards. So, and you need a lawyer involved in that assessment. So these are, really important features and distinctions that you need to understand about a property. If you're going to buy a semi-detached home, let's say, or a townhome, does the roof need to be done? That is important. So, and that is your responsibility to change if the owners haven't changed it, right? So understand what goes into buying a home where you have to pay $10,000 to repair the roof or replace the roof. What about plumbing? Do you have clay piping underneath the home? Again, very common thing in Toronto, but you're only going to be able to get these answers by understanding what it is that you're buying. And that goes back to having somebody that you trust, that understands you, that understands what you're looking for, that can guide you through this entire process. So if you're a first-time buyer, be the first one to tell you, make sure you find an agent that really, really has your best interest at heart and that you connect with. If you are looking for one, please give me a call. I'm happy to have a chat. But that is so important. And don't make these mistakes, because this is only going to make the process much more difficult for you. So I hope you found value in this information. If you have any questions, please do reach out. If you like this information, subscribe.